Hi and welcome to my last and final interview of the week in Rebooting Your Life. And today I am with Nicola Buckely and we are talking about going from this very crazy world that we're in, all this chaos, to clarity. And Nick's going to talk to us a bit about some of the challenges that she had through lockdown and how she's come out stronger. So, Nicola, please, would you just introduce yourself to everyone?
Yeah, cool. Hello, everyone. So I am Nicola Buckely and I help female leaders, generally in the corporate world. I help them when they're at that point that they just feel, is this it? Is this my life? Is this everything I work for? And they're run down, they're exhausted, and they've just lost that energy to fight the battles at work. They're juggling work and home, and they feel like they're failing at everything. And I just help them to come back home. The easiest way describing it is come back home to who you are. So I just help them clear the heads of everything that's going on. There's a lot at the moment. And I help them rediscover clarity on who they are. So not just leader, mum, wife, partner, daughter, all those roles, who they are at the heart, and then the clarity on what they actually want. So rather than the keep going and the shoulds and the coulds, what do I want like right now, and what is my next inspired action? So I'm all about getting them to start taking inspired, feel good action. So I do that through online programs, VIP coaching, corporate coaching, and in the normal world, is it a normal world anymore? I don't know. Workshops and retreats.
Yes, which all sound very nice, but
we're planning a retreat for January now because we provisionally booked in November, but we just don't. It's not worth the risk at the moment. So we've already had to cancel 2, which was not the nicest of processes for anyone. But never mind, it is what it is.
It is. So, please, could you share your lockdown story with us?
Yeah, I will. So my lockdown story started when we were at the very beginning of March. We booked a little getaway. My partner's Polish, so we went to Poland, and we were meeting some of his family. We were having like a little break because we've been really busy. He's a doctor. There's a whole different thing going on with him, but anyway, he's been a doctor for a year, training to be a surgeon, and he'd just been flat out busy. So like, we're going to grab a break. So we booked this break. We literally landed. We had an amazing time. Poland is beautiful. The food is great. Like, his family were they're just lovely, lovely people. And we had this great time. We came back on a bit of a high, and we were talking about, what do you think what's going to happen like with this coronavirus? Do you think? And Conrad was like, I think maybe you shouldn't see your mum for a little bit. Just to kind of isolate a little bit. Me being a doctor and stuff. It's like, yeah, that's probably a good idea. And then we got back, we literally landed on the runway, and then our lodger messaged us and said he had flu-like symptoms. So we went from thinking about it a little bit to suddenly being in a house where we had to isolate ourselves on the top floor. And we had food up there, and we had a microwave, and we had a fridge, and we just basically just lived the top floor of our house for 4 weeks. So we were straight into it, literally. We didn't even wait for the Friday, but the Friday was when it hit me because my gym closed, and I was like, that's my connection. That's my, that's me getting moving and seeing people and just starting my day for me. So that's kind of where it all started. And then through lockdown, I think it was probably like a lot of people, just that whole thing of like, some days I felt like, I want to support my whole community through this. I want to help women through this. I'm going to go all out and put together like a clarity and confidence day. So I had some brilliant speakers in my group, and I was really inspired. And then some days it was like, I have no idea how I'm meant to feel through this. I've no idea who I'm meant to be through this. I don't feel like a leader right now because I don't have clarity. So how can I help anyone else with clarity, and just like everything in between? And
I remember you speaking to you as well, and was that back in June? Was it in June when we were talking?
And probably around,
and you were really worried about your mum and dad as well, weren't you? Your dad had a fall or something?
Dad had a fall, so he cracked his ribs. So my dad has arthritis in his knee, so he just stood up one day to get out in the night, go to the loo, and his legs just didn't work, and he just literally fell down the bedside table, cracked his ribs. So we were really worried about him. We couldn't see him for a few weeks. Mum's obviously looking after him, and there was just so much. It felt like such an intense time. Plus, my partner's a doctor, so he was going to work. He was he was a facial surgeon or training to be one. So he's wearing full PPE. He's having to go to red areas in the hospital, which are, coronavirus potential or known. I think those are the known areas actually. And it was just, it just felt like, it felt like surreal. I remember watching the film. I don't know if you've seen it, Contagion, at one point. I don't know why in lockdown, why did I choose to watch a film that was basically the story of a virus that like wipes out a big chunk of the world until they find it. It was just like, but it was really, really surreal. And it was just, I had clients leave, then I had to cancel my Alps retreat. So there's a whole financial impact. My corporate coaching contract was delayed by 6 months. So that's now delayed until next year. So all of those effects on cash flow and doing work next year for what I've already been paid for is just, it all felt quite strange. All of that was going on, but I think the biggest thing I wanted to say is just around this whole thing, and I've talked about this quite a lot, it's just there's an amazing, I didn't know how to feel, and I didn't know how to work out how I felt, because it changed minute by minute and hour by hour, until I listened to Brené Brown's podcast. It's called Unlocked. It was the first episode, and she talks about it's basically about FFTs, and FFTs are fucking first times. And when she talked about it, she talked about, you get brave and you go into something new, but you have that anxiety and that worry. She said, we are all in that every day and every minute and every hour right now. So it's okay to have no idea how you feel. It's okay just some days to feel brilliant and other days to feel like you're on the floor. And that kind of gave me, it wasn't about permission, but it was almost that understanding of like how I was feeling was okay. Because we were all fit and healthy. We were all fine, and my family were fine. And it was like, why am I so anxious? And the other part, so if anyone's felt like that or still feeling like that, go and listen to it, because it's brilliant. And then
called again, the
so, we'll get a link to it afterwards, but it's called Unlock. It's by Brené Brown. It's the first episode after the introduction episode. And it's brilliant at just helping you to have that framework of understanding how you feel. For me, that was a huge release, and I shared it loads because I was just like, oh my god, this is how we're feeling. This is how I'm feeling, and I couldn't articulate it because I'd just never been through this before. And that suddenly that was quite a huge release then of like, actually no, that let's get rid of that. That feels, I kind of know now that's okay to feel all of those things. And that just gave me like real hope. And that gave me real perspective, and that gave me real understanding to then be able to help my clients in a bigger way. And come back to, actually, it's okay just to take it day by day and hour by hour. I think when I look back to it as well, and I don't know if you found this, Em, as well, there was just this huge pressure at times as well, that we're in lockdown, so surely you can marry condo your entire house, or you should be writing a book that you've never done, or you should be, you should be learning to cook or a new language. And like, who are these people? Like, they fucking do that. Most of the clients are mums who are running businesses or they're running teams, and they've suddenly got a 2-year-old clinging around them, and they're on a Zoom call to their boss. And it's like, when do you think she's going to write a fucking book? Like, seriously. Can we not put more pressure on people? Stop it.
No, well, in terms of like, so obviously I had a husband working in retail, so nothing stopped for him. He was out. In fact, he was working more because everybody else was like, as soon as they got a sniff, decided that he had to isolate. So right through the peak, he was working more hours than he'd ever worked, really. And then, which I obviously didn't really want him to come back into the house after that. You probably had that, like, strip at the door. Do not come near us.
Strip at the door. I won't. I
keep my children safe. I might buy you a caravan for the drive. So we had all that going on. I was trying to convert all my training, and so obviously my coaching, a lot of it's up through Zoom anyway. training, converting my training from face-to-face training to online training. So that was all quite a big challenge, whilst having 3 children at home, while watching all the neighbours outside painting and doing beautiful gardens and all the rest of it, at a time when I probably had to work even harder than ever because people needed my support.
Yeah. It just, I can't remember, there was someone famous and they put out a meme, didn't they? And I can't remember who it was, and it was that, you know, this is your time now to write the book, to, you know, marry, condo your house, to do, it's like, well, that was it. It was Gwyneth Paltrow. It was like, all right, Gwenny, it's probably quite a different life for you than it is for most people. Like, you know, who's going to take care of Apple? Probably the nanny, or there will be someone. You're not going to be living there on your own doing cooking and cleaning and looking after everyone in the house, are you? Let's face it. So it was just that lost no sense of realism at all. Like, okay. So that all happened. And then, like, you know, there's quite a loss in the business. I think I went through that whole financial impact as well. And that, you know, that causes its own stress. But my relationship with money is like a hugely improving one. And that knowledge that I was still safe and I was still okay, you were going to be okay. Maybe it's just not money flowing in the way that you want it to, or the rate that it has been, but actually you are safe. And just that reminder to myself. And 2 big things happened then. So my tenants refused to move out of the house when they were meant to, and they just stayed because their house they were building wasn't finished. So we cancelled 7 weeks. I think it was the end of Airbnb. We lost about £8,000. But you know, again, we're safe, we're healthy. Just fine. And then the other big thing that happened at the end of June, my partner came back from work, finished a 12-hour shift in A&E, and took me back to A&E because I was so poorly, and I'd just been in bed all day, couldn't get comfortable, had these huge pains in my hips, sweating on and off, couldn't focus. It was Father's Day, it was meant to go and see my dad, and I was just I can't move, let alone come and see you. And the next day I had an emergency laparoscopy to have my appendix out, and the infection was so bad they had to take out some other bits as well. And just never had a general anaesthetic before, never been in hospital before, found it all hugely scary. And so
at time
been in recovery for the last 13 weeks now, I think it is.
I know we were all sending you big love vibes, weren't we?
You're all so brilliant, so lovely. My clients were very, very understanding, and you know, just supported each other and just allowed me time to just. But I think again, it's a huge thing I wanted to talk about today. Was just, I think sometimes, well, not sometimes, I always things happen for you, not to you, if you choose to see them like that. I needed it to happen in a way. It wasn't pleasant, it was incredibly painful and really scary. I wasn't far off sepsis and just being really ill. But it's made me see that I can't work at the rate that I was working before, and I can't give so much of myself, even though I love what I do. I don't have the same impact when I don't have the energy, and I don't have I'm trying to do everything. So it's been a massive shift for me that actually I need to, my next level of success and my next level of impact isn't going to be in doing everything myself. I do everything that help with stuff, but again, I need to up level what they're doing with them, or I need to find new people, because I don't have, like you, I give a lot to what I do, and the magic is in having that high energy and that, you know, bringing people into that. So if I don't have that, it doesn't work in the same way. And it's that realization that I don't want to work as hard, I don't want to work as long, I don't want to miss weekends, I don't want to miss any time with my partner and our dogs. And my partner's going back to a 9 to 5. He just started last week, and it just means that, you know, to know he's going to finish midday on a Friday, I want to finish at midday on a Friday. And then just being out the weekend with him. So that was a massive realization for me. And also I'd pick myself down the priority list. So although I didn't make myself ill, I didn't help myself. I was still trying to work a lot and train and do everything and sea swim. I was in the sea the night before. I swam 2 kilometers in the sea, and then this happened. It was like, I need more balance. I need more I need to grow this business in a sustainable way, because this is my forever business in some way. You know, I always do some form of this. Therefore, it needs to work for me. So that was such a huge lesson, and again, it was something that needed to happen. It wasn't. I wouldn't recommend doing it that way, but it was just that massive light moment.
Do you think, because you were so busy, do you think, did you miss any signs? Were you ignoring any signs?
I think, potentially. I don't think it was ignoring. I think it was, I went out for a really long 8-mile walk the week before, a couple of friends, and it just felt like a stitch, because we went a bit wrong and we ran out of time. And then we ended up walking back that 3 miles along the road. And I was like, my hips flexors are not happy. And I assumed it was because of walking on the road. Now I look back, it was probably like the infection getting worse, and things like over, just before that, when I'd been training at home, because my gym had just started doing online sessions, and training at home was just, I'd start a workout that I know that I could do, and not easy, but I know I could get through it. And then I'd get even a couple of minutes in, I'm like, I can't do this. Can't do this today. I'm tired. I feel like shit. And I think the signs were there, because an infection of that much of an infection must have been there like months and months before, to be honest. So I think it's that whole thing, isn't it? And appendix, when I looked it up, I really love Louise Hay's work around the body. And if there's dis-ease in your life, there's lack of ease in an area of your life. And when you look up appendix, it's forcing life and not allowing life to come to you, and you're kind of making it happen rather than allowing it to happen, which was really interesting. It's like, oh, okay, thanks, Louise. Damn it. So, you know, it's that whole, isn't it? But it's been a really interesting recovery, because I've reshaped a bit of who I work with. I've got some amazing new VIP clients. I've picked my prices up. I'm doing the challenge next week, but I've probably had a bit more help than normal. So I've just challenge a lot simpler for myself. All the things we've kind of talked about, that I've just I can just show up and be in it, because the things around it are mostly done, and there's some stuff to do for the following week, but that'd be fine. And I'm having my eyelashes done on Monday, which I've never done in a challenge. So so I'm an improver with all of this. I wouldn't say I'm great, but I just think as women, and I know that you're probably similar, like we just get into doing mode, don't we? We're just used to I do it. I know it gets done. I know it gets done really well, and it's done in the way that I want it to. And I started, my parents were a huge example of hard work. You know, they worked really hard. So we had a lovely childhood, but I know they sacrificed, and I know they sacrificed stuff they wanted in their time, so that we could have what we needed and wanted. And mum stretched the money as far as you can with our food and cooking, making our clothes. My dad worked long hours. And I just saw this hard work, and I was, cut your cloth accordingly. Things that they said, or if you don't have what you want, you work for it. Like, you have to work for what you want, what you get in this life. You get what you deserve, stuff like that. That's sat with me for such a long time. And it's like I said, my next level success won't be through working harder and longer. It's through the opposite. And it's that brave step to trust it, isn't it? And to know actually that is what is going to happen. But I feel, I don't know, it just feels quite a calm step by step. We're going to just step through it and see what happens. So, and I feel like a change is coming in how I do things, but I don't know exactly what that is yet. So
well, a lot, I'm sure you'll discover a lot through your challenge next week as well. So
I think so. I'm really excited, actually. It's going to be good. And I've upgraded, so we've got prizes. Live coaching sessions as well, because I was like, well, that's the stuff that I love. I've been in a few challenges this week, and they've been brilliant. And I was like, some elements of those I think could work brilliantly. So I've just so I'm really excited, actually. So I don't know if that helps anyone just with lockdown lessons, but I think the biggest lockdown lessons for me were go and listen to that podcast. It just changed how I felt about it. When something happens to you and it feels crap at the time, there's a reason for it, and there's a lesson for it, definitely. And also, you know, just know that this is happening for you, not to you. It's just, you know, how you see things. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. And sometimes it's, you know, at the time when it's happening, it's very hard to see it.
Oh God, yeah.
You know, when you're
lying on a hospital bed eating some gross food, you're like, oh, is this happening for me? This is shit.
Yeah. But yeah, sometimes we're forced, aren't we, to
listen,
to make that change. Yeah.
It's like it's like life giving you a slap round the face, isn't it? So you wouldn't listen, would you? I've told you.
Yes, it sure is. So if you want to, if you'd like to know more about what Nicola does, what's the best way that they get in touch with you, Nick?
They could just find me on here and just add me on here, or they can join obviously the challenge next week. So I'll come back and pop a link to it below. And it's 5 days to go from feeling a bit confused and what the fuck is going on in the world to actually, right, okay, I'm clear, my head is clear, and I can take some inspired action now. This feels like the right next thing for me. So yeah, it's gonna be really good. I'm excited. So yeah,
fabulous. And obviously, I've got my challenge next week.
Challenge me. It's going to be like, oh, how's it going? Oh, yeah.
We need to plan that better, don't we? Next time, not the same week.
September, isn't it? It's a bit of a restart for everyone this year.
It is, and yeah, and that. So, if you're wanting to reboot, then obviously I've got my mental fitness reboot next week, and obviously we'll be working on your mental fitness and resilience to take you through the rest of the year and into 2020. So if you want 2021, we don't want 2020 again, do we?
Out of all the years, probably not my favorite, if I'm honest, but it was fine.
So if you want to do that, the link's above the interview that we've just done now. So thank you ever so much, Nick. I've loved you as always.
Yeah, definitely. Bye, everyone.
Bye.